Hello everybody, and welcome to this next training session. My name is Rick Ray from rickrayfx.com, and glad to have you here. If you've been following along in previous videos so far, we've covered a couple of different strategies. The T-line strategy, where you use the 8 EMA, and that can be used on all currencies, commodities, and all time frames. You can use it anytime on everything in Forex. And then we also looked at a scalping strategy using the pound US dollar on the 5-minute time frame. But today we're going to look at what is probably my favorite trading strategy. It's called the trend rider, and that means that you ride the trend. In other words, you want to be able to place a trade which will go in a continuous direction for several days or possibly even several weeks. And that means that you really only have to look at the charts for 1 or 2 times per day just to check and see how it's going. But you need to use a proper strategy to be able to determine what the trend is and where to make your entry point. Remember the 3 points of any trade: the entry point, the stop loss, and the take profit. So that's what I'm going to show you here, and we will set up the template together, and then you can save that template so you'll have the Trend Rider template in your MT4 platform. So not only is it my favorite trading strategy, but it's also the favorite trading strategy of Mr. Mario Singh. In fact, he designed this strategy, and he wrote about it in his book, 17 Currency Trading Strategies, one of the best-selling books in the Forex market, available on Amazon, available at your local bookstore, available at Mario Singh's website, available everywhere. Okay, so I recommend that you read that. It's a great strategy, and Mario loves it, and it's the strategy that he used mostly to become successful as a millionaire trader. So let's see what this Trend Rider strategy is all about. First of all, you need a couple of indicators, all right, and it's used on the time frame H1 and above. 1 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame, daily, or even weekly or monthly if you want. And I will show you the time frames that I use it on. And you can be used with all currency pairs, and of course the majors is the best. All right, they're the best trending currencies. So that gives you 7 different currency pairs that you can use this Trend Rider strategy on. So what are the indicators that you need? Well, a couple of moving averages. All right, the EMA 12 and the EMA 36. And you are already familiar with how to set up exponential moving averages on your charts, because in the T-line strategy you set up the 8 EMA. Well, in this strategy we use the 12 and the 36. And also we have another indicator called the ADX, and it's by default set on 14, but we will add one level, the 40 level, and I will show you how to do that. I'll take you through the steps of setting up this on your MT4 software. So to make a short trade setup, what are we looking for? The EMA 12, all right, the blue, we'll make it blue in color, will cross below the EMA 36, which will be red in color. And your entry comes when the price goes back to the EMA 12, and the distance to the EMA 36 is 30 pips. And you place your stop loss at the EMA 36 and take your profit when the ADX goes above 40 and crosses below 40. Now I know that sounds a little complicated, but it's not. Once you get it set up on the screen, you'll see how easy it is to be able to determine whether or not you can take a trend trade. Now I recommend that you either jot this information down or that you take a screenshot with your phone and save it so that you don't forget. So I took some slides when Mario actually came to Bangkok and did a seminar with about 500 clients, and he went through this Trend Rider strategy. But I'm going to jump over to my actual chart here. I've saved some screenshots that I took of trades that I made with this Trend Rider strategy. And what we're looking at here is an exotic currency pair. This is the US dollar Mexican peso, and it's on the 4 hour time frame. So let me bring out the points that we're looking for here. How do we know when it's time to go short? Well, we said the blue EMA 12 crossed below the 36, which is red. All right, so this moving average crossed below the red one. All right, and then the price goes down, but we wait for the price to come back up to the blue line, which it does right here. There is a little bit of a pin bar there, and it touches the blue line, but you can't see that. So that's where you go short. All right, that's your signal, your entry point. And then you put the stop loss, excuse me, you put the stop loss at the red EMA, the 36. And then just ride the trade, okay? It goes down and down and down. This is over a period of about 3 or 4 days. And then your exit is, this is the ADX, the other indicator that we talked about, when it comes above and goes back below the 40 line, which is over here. That's the number that we're going to add to this indicator, the 40. So it goes above, after we took the trade, the ADX goes above the 40 and then goes back below, and that's where you exit the trade. So I would have exited right here. Even though it did go a little bit further, that's okay, but that's our exit signal. All right, so that's on the US dollar Mexican peso. That's a short trade. And most people don't trade the US dollar Mexican peso because it's an exotic currency pair. But I've been trading that one for a couple of years, and I like to trade it. And this one is the pound US dollar. This is also the H4, and it's the same criteria. The blue line crosses the red line. All right, and we wait for the price to come back up and touch the blue line. It didn't touch it here, all right, but it did touch it here, and then we have a distance of at least 30 pips between those two. So we take our short trade right there on that next candle, enter the short. And our stop loss is at the red 36 EMA. And now this one is in progress. I don't have an exit signal on this one. When I took the screenshot, this trade was open and there was still no exit signal. Now you see, when I took the trade, it did go down, and that was, wow, oh, this is great. This is really working really well. But then it started to come back up. That's okay. The stop loss is way up here. Never got close to the stop loss. And then it went sideways, and then it started to come back down again. And this is still an open trade. So we're waiting for the ADX to come above this 40 line and then go back below before we will have the exit signal. Okay, another one on the H4. This is the pound New Zealand. My favorite currency pair for trading. It trends so well, and this strategy works great on it. Now this is, I've zoomed in a little bit so you can't quite see that. What we've got here is the blue line crosses the red, then the price comes down and comes back up and touches the blue. It does. There's a pin bar there. You can't see it behind the dotted line. And that's where you go short, right here on that next candle. And you have 30 pips. I think it was about 45 pips between those two. And then just ride that down. And nowhere does you ever get in danger of this coming back and hitting your stop loss. And of course, you know that you can gradually move your stop loss down a little bit at a time as you start to increase your profit. And then finally, we're looking for the ADX to come above the 40 and then go back below right here. So this is where we had our exit. And this is the pound New Zealand. All right, so good little run there over about, that was probably 7, 8, 9 trading days. Now here it is on the daily chart. Okay, a short trade on the daily chart. This one here, we're looking for the blue to cross over the red, which it did back here, okay, and then the price comes down, comes back up, price comes back up, touches the blue, and we had about 32 pips between there. Put your stop loss at the red, take your short trade, and just ride that down. Now each one of these candles is a day, so this is several weeks that this has gone on a downtrend. This is the US dollar Swiss franc. It had been trending down for quite a long time. In fact, over in this area here, these are 5-year lows. It has never been this low in the last 5 years. So this was a great run down with the US dollar Swiss franc. And then our exit was where? Can you tell me where the exit was? I didn't mark it on this chart for a reason. Can you point it out? I took the trade here, and then waiting for the ADX to come back above, which it did here, and then it crosses below right here. So technically, following the rules, you would have exited the trade right here. Well, you don't have to exit the trade. It's not required. It's not mandatory that you exit the trade. What you do is you pull your stop loss down a little bit, maybe halfway. All right, protect what profit you already have. And then look, you would have missed out. If you had exited right there, you would have missed all this other run here. So it's come back above again and then gone below right here. So this would have been the ideal exit place. Okay? So there are guidelines to follow, but you have to be flexible. Okay? And this one, if we had exited right there, we would have missed out on a big, big drop on this bearish trend. Now, so that's the H4 and the daily. And I believe I have, yeah, before we look at the long, let me go to one of my live charts. And I want to show you the Euro US. This one I'm showing you because this is the 1 hour time frame. See, H1. Now, I prefer to use it on the H4 and the daily, but it will also work on the H1. So let's look on the H1 on the Euro US. We're coming sideways here. The blue line crossed the red line. The price came down, came back up and touched the blue line. So do we have 30 pips between those two moving averages? Well, let's check and see. Blue line, we have 32.9 pips, 33 pips. So that is a signal to take a short trade. We go short right there. And then it goes sideways, so we get frustrated, think it's not going to do anything. But then it starts to drop. And you would put your stop loss, of course, right on the red line where you took the trade. Okay, and then you could gradually move the stop loss down. Now, where do we exit the trade? So we took the trade here. We're looking for it to come back up above, which it does there, above the ADX 40, and then goes below right here. So you could exit the trade right about, oh, got the line in the wrong box there. Put this one over here, right about there. You can exit the trade. But you see, this is another case where it's continued to move down. So rather than exit right there, you could just bring your stop loss down to say right above the red line there, protect the profit that you've already made, and then continue with your open trade to ride this trend down, and it's still going down. This is a real-time live chart that we're looking at right now. So this is still going down. If you'd have exited right here, you would have missed all of this drop in here. So far, if you took that trade from right here and down over to here, that is 145 pips over yesterday and today. Not bad. Okay, now while I'm on the live chart, let me show you how to set up the indicators. All right, we go to our indicator box, and then we go up to trend and take moving average, drag that over, drop it, change this period to 12, and that wants to be blue, any color blue, whatever you like. I'll use a light blue. I like to, and make sure it's exponential, and I like to make them a little bit thicker, the lines. Okay, there we have the 12. All right, you can use any currency pair you want just to set up your indicator. And then we take this moving average box again, bring it over, drop it, change that to 36, change this color to red, that's pink, red, and make sure it's exponential. That's the thickness I want, and there we go. There's the two moving averages. The 12, blue, the 36 is red. And then we need the ADX, which is Average Directional Movement Index. Okay, just drag that over and drop it. Now here's where we need to set up a little bit. This is 14, that's the default, that's okay. White is good. Colors, We want to choose none where it says colors. You probably, by default, you have some colors in here. Check both, I think it's silver. Be sure both of those are on none. And go to levels and add, you don't have the 40, okay? So you'll add the 40. You probably have nothing here. Just click add, put in 40, and that's all. And then click OK. All right? And you can choose the 40 line to be any color you want. Let's make it white. Easier to see. And see what happens. Okay, there we go. Now you have your trend rider template. The ADX indicator with your 40 line, and you have your blue 12 exponential moving average and your red 36 exponential moving average. And what you want to do is save the template. Save the template. And type the name Trend Rider. Just type Trend Rider. You don't need to type .tpl. Type the name Trend Rider and save, and then you can put that template on any chart that you want. Okay? So I'll go back to my slides. Now for a long trade setup, everything is the same except it's the opposite. Okay? You wait for the 12 to cross above the EMA 36. And your entry is when the price goes back down to the EMA 12. You place your stop loss at the same place, the red EMA 36, and the take profit indicator is the same. So let's look at some actual charts that I did. This is a long trade on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. All right, so we look for the blue line to cross above the red, which it did here. And then we look for the price to go up and come back down and touch the blue, which it did here. And then we had more than 30 pips between these two, so you go long on this candle and you put your stop loss at the red EMA 36. And then it starts to go across, and guess what happened? You got stopped out. To tell you, this doesn't work every single time, okay? There will be some times when it doesn't work. It works most of the time, but it doesn't work all of the time. So just an example to show you that. This is set up properly, okay? Nothing wrong with the setup, nothing wrong with the strategy, but just nothing is 100% guaranteed sure going to work every time. That does not exist. Okay, here's a daily chart, and this is on the odd US. And here we have the blue line crosses above the red line. The price goes up, comes back down, touches the blue line, and then we have more than 30 pips between here. So we go long on the next candle. Put your stop loss right there at the red line, and never, ever, ever did it come back and get close to the stop loss. It just continued up. What a beautiful run that was. So we made the trade here, and we look for the ADX to come above and then back below, which the exit could have been right here. Another case of where you can stay in the trade. Just check your charts once or twice a day. Move your stop loss up. Move your stop loss up to the red line, and let this come back above the ADX again, and then go down, and you can exit here. However, it's even continued a bit higher. All right, but this is a nice, beautiful run on a daily chart. This is about 4 weeks of trading. One trade over a period of 4 weeks. So you check the chart once or twice a day. It's a fantastic, beautiful strategy that gives you time freedom from being away from the charts. Okay, so easy to set up, easy to use, called the Trend Rider strategy. I'll go back to my MT4, and you'll see that I have a special MT4 set up with all of every chart has the Trend Rider strategy on it. I love it. This is the pound US. That was the pound New Zealand. Okay, this is the pound US. This is the US dollar Mexican peso, the US dollar Swiss franc, the US dollar Canadian dollar, the odd US, the New Zealand US, the Euro US, and of course I do have gold on my charts because I trade gold, but I have not been able to use the trend rider strategy on gold. But it certainly works on all of the major pairs, and you have noticed that I also use it on the US dollar Mexican peso, which is an exotic currency pair, and you can try it on any currency pair that you want. It works for sure on the majors, but if you want to try it on a minor or an exotic currency pair, just try it on a demo account first. Okay, any questions? Please feel free to let me know with a comment, or you can telegram me. My ID is @RickRayFX. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it very much. Take care. Have a great day wherever you are in the world. Bye-bye.